Hello and welcome to another Chocolate Covered Gaming. This is our Candy Corner episode. You know how that works. I'm not going to explain that again. We've done enough now that you should know how this works. I'm Hershey. I'm going to warn you now, my voice has kind of been going, but we need to record this episode now. So enjoy the dulcet tones of scratchiness you'll hear throughout the episode. And joining me today is the wonderful Crunchie bar that is my partner in crime, or otherwise. You fan artists out there can think what you want. Chris, how you doing, Crunchie?
Good. I just came from my favorite gym. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's a horrible pun. And also, we're not sponsored. It was gonna be Crunch.
Oh wow! Wouldn't that be more like your favorite exercise?
I mean, yeah, it is an exercise, but it's also a gym. It's also my favorite Pokemon move.
There we go. Boom. We're
keeping it going. We're grandstanding this now.
And yet we didn't do all of this on the episode where we actually had Crunch. Look at us.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Also, you know what? I'm surprised you know what a Crunchie is. Especially after Heath. That moment, I'm kind of impressed you know what a Crunchie is.
I mean, you know what? We all come from. We have our different upbringings. Some candies you see, some candies you don't see, some candies you chuck in the trash because it's just not good.
So, are you Googling Crunchie? Is that happening again? Okay.
No, I'm not Googling it.
Okay, you're gonna just trust me on this one. That's an actual candy bar.
I mean, it's legally distinct from Crunch.
That is true. It is in fact legally distinct from Crunch. The IE in Crunchie really sets it apart.
Those are 2 letters.
Those 2 letters save millions of jobs. So here we are on our 5th Candy Corner. And today we are going to be diving into the beautiful, annoying thing that is role-playing. The R and the P in your RPGs. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to be honest, Hirsch.
Yes.
I've DM'd for a lot more than I have been playing, so I'm going to be kind of running on a limp here. And you're going to be the one doing the marathon, in all honesty.
No, DMs need to roleplay too, because as the Adventure Zone puts it, another wonderful podcast that's real play D&D and real play RPGs in general. The way they put it is that, each character is their own, the 3 main guys are their characters, and then the DM is literally everyone else.
Oh yeah, huh?
And literally everyone else needs to be roleplayed. So DMs roleplay a lot more than other people. They just don't have to worry about making a concrete. Yeah. You're going to be DMs will be. Here's the thing we'll talk about already. DMs will be skimming the top, of this role-playing dive that you have to go into, while player characters are expected to honestly dive in a lot deeper to kind of act out your character, to really get into it. Avoid that meta knowledge and really become one with who you want to be. Or who your character wants to be.
And I guess that's kind of what I was thinking of, is I'm used to skimming the top of characters, only developing them, as a DM, when my players show explicit interest in them.
Yeah, because it's not worth all the effort. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not worth the effort if your character's just going to go, cool, 5 seconds by, and you're like, oh, this guy had 5 pages of backstory. That kind of sucks. Think about it. Okay, so I'm going to take this off the bat for DMs and character players alike, so you can get this cool idea in your head. Role-playing especially RPGs, is a cooperative storytelling game. And when you tell a story, you have to think about your main characters and your side characters. Your main characters are always going to be much more fleshed out. They're going to be more robust, and they're going to have a lot more screen time. Those are your players, you know? They're going to be your main characters. Whereas everyone else, all the people the DM have to control, those are usually side characters. Some may show up more often than others, and those will be fleshed out more, but you don't have to make them super deep all the time. You know, not every shopkeep has a deep, dark, mysterious past that everybody wants to know. Because if every book dove into, you know, even like 2 pages worth of backstory for every character they talked about, it'd be like thousands. You'd have Lord of the Rings sized novels. Easy.
Plus, that's just a lot of work. Like,
oh, it's miserable. I know that's miserable because for my first time DMing campaign, which, you know, I'll come out and say it for anyone who wants to DM their own campaign, be careful with it. Take your time, because I dove in with minimal knowledge, and it was a train wreck. I fucked up in a lot of ways. I was too skimmed in some parts and too deep in others, and it didn't just work out the way I wanted it to, which sucked. Period.
It's almost like the curse of the first session. It's almost like we should tell new DMs, it's okay.
You're gonna fuck up.
Session.
It's like pancakes, you know. The first pancake is always a little bad, but then you get better.
But then you get the last pancake, and it's like a godsend.
Oh yeah, by the last pancake, you figured it out. You're like, boom. So we've had a weird like chain of tangents off the bat.
We promise they're important.
No, I hope they all at least apply to what we're trying to talk about, but
which is roleplay.
Which is roleplay. Again, we're talking about roleplay. And the
R
first
to the O to the L to the E to the P to the A. No, I messed it up. This is why I don't rap.
Wow, you were whiter than me for a hot second there, and that shouldn't be a thing. So, with role-playing, you know, there's a couple of things to get in mind. We've touched on a couple of them already. I feel like the main thing, though, that we should really talk about is obviously the base of all role-playing. Who you're acting as. Basically, what's your character? Who is your character?
Who are you?
Who are you? Who?
The important question of every RPG is just who are you?
Yeah, who are you? Who? 5 people got that reference to a beautiful song, and they're gonna be like, cool, thanks. Another 5 people got that from a TV show, and you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Calling out. He's dividing. He's cutting and, you know, sorting.
Civil War is coming, okay?
It is coming in with force.
So, first things first, what's your character going to look like? You know, a tiefling ranger that prays to, you know, Pan is going to act a little differently or a lot differently than a dragonborn warlock that praises Tiamat, you know? They're going to be different characters, and they're going to have different goals, different, you know, bonds, different flaws. You know, they're going to be 2 different people, as they should be. And because of that, they're going to act different ways. You and your friends don't all act the same. Yeah, you have similar things, but you're all individual people. And your characters are too, you know?
And what's really cool about D&D and just the nature of it, let's say, Hirsch, you and I play that tiefling ranger that, you know, prays to Pan. You probably have you probably have that, you know, idea in your head of what you think that looks like. While I have that idea of what I think they look like. And even if we play like the same initial concept, chances are we'll go in drastically different directions.
Exactly. And that's the beautiful part about it. You know, you can make it as your own as you want, and that's what you should do. The more you conceptualize your character and you write down their backstory and kind of flesh them out, the more you become, the more easy it is for you to kind of put on that mask that is your character, you know? Depending
like,
on...
for fun.
Yeah.
fun.
Like for fun, you want to put on that mask, but
think of the one word that you would use to describe, like an adjective for that character. All right, Hirsch, get that in your mind. I'm going to count us down to 3. We're going to say that one word of what we think will be the defining adjective for that character. The Tiefling Ranger. All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hippie.
Scared.
Okay. I want to. Which one of us want to go first?
All right,
and explain
you
what we
first,
were thinking?
because I really want to hear hippie.
Okay, so I'm like, I don't know why. Rangers are always so on edge and so aggressive because of Drizzt and Legolas, and Aragorn and all that stuff. And I just want they're high strung, they're on edge. Night. Wow. Okay, I walked into that. You caught me off guard there. Fair enough. I just love the idea of a ranger because it's usually druids that are usually hippie ones.
Yeah, the literal flower childs.
Yeah, I love the idea of a ranger with a large bow on his back, just going "Hey man, how's it going, bruh? Yo, I'm all good. Just went and caught a deer. All's good. Just keeping an eye on the forest and land. We gotta take care of things, But we don't have to.
You want some of my rations? They're all organic, man.
Right, dude? You gotta enjoy it, just be one with it. Sometimes the cycle's gotta be completed, There's nothing wrong with hunting. As long as you do it in moderation, man. You just gotta be, I feel like you're scared though kind of came from the same root as Rangers are always for some reason the most high-strung people.
So no, I actually tied it direct. Okay, so now we'll go to me. I tied it because they pray to Pan, and we get the word panic from Pan.
Oh my god!
Story.
Yes.
And so I was thinking, he prays to Pan probably because he's like, hey, you're making me scared, but you're not scared. You make other people scared, so I want to be like you, but I'm also super scared. Also, I was thinking, you're an archer. So you're as far away from the conflict as you can be.
So
we've now demonstrated it.
Yeah, and because this I think might be my new favorite little game we play, and I feel like we could do a whole episode on this. Put down in the comments if you just want an episode of me and Crunchie over here going through an entire episode of just each pitching a character idea and then role playing it out. Are the way we think that character will act, because I'm loving this so much.
We can call it seeing double,
right? I love it.
That's it. That's in there.
Write it down now before we forget.
Seeing double.
But yeah, so because we did that, because I love that so much, and we're already part of the way through it. Let's just jump into the other one. That Dragonborn warlock who praises Tiamat. Let's go with maybe he has some conflicting parental issues in a way, and he's a bronze Dragonborn. Yeah, that's crazy. A metallic Dragonborn worshiping Tiamat sounds dope. So, on the count of 3, dude, let's do this one more time.
All right.
That first adjective. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Schizophrenic.
Colorful. All right.
We both went.
Somewhat similar this time.
Similar, but very different at the same time.
All right. So you went first last time.
Yes. So, I'll follow up with schizophrenic.
Of course, because that's how we really wanna go here.
Yeah. Right.
So Tiamat, right? Multi-headed, multicolored. She's a chromatic dragon.
Yeah.
So why not make the character colorful in personality? Kind of almost across the board. And that's why I'm scared when you said schizophrenic, because it could probably lead to schizophrenia. Kind of being across the board, somewhat multi-personality, right?
Yeah, I was thinking multi-personality also. Hence why I jumped straight to schizophrenia, which some people might think is a bit of an extreme jump to take.
I mean, I said colorful.
Yeah, you did stage 1. I went like, fuck it, we going at the bottom of this pit.
We're going to final stage here. But like, I think playing that, I would play it like the wild card. Like every day is a new day of just, all right, what's your morals? Well, not what's your morals, but like, what's your goal today? You know, are you really that concerned about getting yourself, you know, food? Or you want to get some money today? Or do you want to get a friend? Or do you want to get, you know, property, material goods, or whatever?
Yep. Okay. Oh boy.
All right. You're on the chair.
Oh boy, I have to follow this up now. So I said the words I said.
You did.
Yep, I said that. I said that word, which I won't say again. Because I don't want to, you know...
I dead stop it, but, you know, we're kind of technically in a dead stop.
Honestly, yeah. You know, it's worse because I know the true effects of that word, and I feel like, you know what, I've kind of just made a joke of it. That's not really tasteful. That's on me.
Mm-hmm.
However, kind of a similar idea, you know, almost multiple personalities, you know, depending on what color's in charge that day. You know, they might be into different things.
Yeah, because you know, one thing for the people who may or may not know, the colors do play a part into the morality and the general like goal of the dragon.
Yeah,
like it's not just, ooh, that one's white, that one's red.
Yep.
Like it's a key feature of like what they, you know, their end goal is.
Exactly.
And how they go about their life.
It's very important. And Tiamat has one of each head. So she's all 5 colors.
So this is why we went in the direction that we did, is because, yeah, she's a chromatic dragon. So yeah, one head of each color.
Yep. So we kind of went along a similar way.
We basically tied ourselves to the colors.
Yeah, it was the easy one. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when you throw Tiamat in, you got to have like some kind of a rainbow.
Yeah.
That's also another direction you could go.
I was about to make that joke too. So, you know, Seeing Double, you can find it now on this single episode and maybe more if you like it enough, because boy, we sure did.
Yeah. No, I think it could be really fun. A great way to really, you know, hammer home certain things.
Yeah. So,
as you were saying.
Yeah. After that tangent, after the tangent. Oh boy, we're going deep on tangents today.
Well, it's role playing. Like that's how you build character.
That's true.
How
actually,
you quite literally build character is tangent to tangent to tangent. All right, roll it back. Let's go. You know.
Yeah, honestly, that was the thing I was gonna say too. Like having your backstory written out before a campaign is good and all. It's a great way to kind of see how your character works. But a lot of time,
there can be too much.
There can be too much, and a lot of time, the best way to flesh out your character is on the fly. You know, almost improv. It just there's never going to be a script in D&D, no matter how much you want one. There will always be improv involved. So when your character gets asked new questions in a way that kind of force you to make new decisions about things you've never really thought about, or your characters never really thought about, that forces you to flesh out your character. You know, to kind of add things on. Never be afraid to tackle new things with new answers, but tackle new things in a way you think your character would. You know, if you're a scaredy cat, you know, archer hiding in the back, you're not going to, you know, be charging to the front lines when you see a bear for the first time, you know?
You're not going to be the first one that steps up to get the magical sword of the legendary hero, because that means if you grab that, you have to go to the front line now.
Exactly. You have to think about how your character actually works, you know?
Honestly, that would be a really fun situation. You know, you're the scaredy cat archer. Everyone else has tried the magic sword. They can't, you know, attune to it. They're not the chosen one. And everyone's looking at the archer like, it's got to be you. It's like, no, it's not. It's got to be, no, it's not.
I mean,
stop saying that.
You know, it might be like the lunar sword, you know, only the man with 2 knees come together will be able to draw the sword and use its full power.
Yeah.
That was a reference mostly for Chris to tell him I've been listening. And
Yes, he has.
if you know where that reference is from, leave it in the comments below. So,
hello.
as you hello.
That's your keyword.
That's a safe word,
But no,
baby. So,
one thing I was gonna say is
yeah,
kind of going back to too much. As a DM, while I love seeing, a backstory, like, a somewhat fleshed out backstory, I feel like there's a point when there's just too much. Your character has done too much that unless we're starting at a higher level, it isn't really that warranted. It's like, well, wait, if you've already robbed like so many banks and committed all these crimes without being caught, why are you level 1?
yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I feel like that's a common trap people fall into, and there's a really funny like joke about it too. Just the classic first character of D&D is always like, I love my family and I took care of my wife every day. But one day when I came back from the war after slaying multiple foes, multiple ogres, and becoming the most decorated warrior in my army, I came back to find my wife was slain by a dragon who had burned down my entire village. Now I seek vengeance to become the most powerful man, to slay the most powerful dragon. And then 5 seconds later, well, he died to goblins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like, kind of going back to like criminal. Like, I always treat criminal as, yeah, you did a couple of small things, but the one time, let's say if you were caught, you were trying that big heist, right? Kind of like in Ant-Man. He was doing the big thing, and then he got caught.
Yeah.
Right. Like, to me, that would be warranted and allowed in like a level 1-ish. If you're starting from level 1 or lower levels, right? It's like you tried the big shot, you did the gambit, didn't pan out. Now you got to work back. You got to work up.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest note, I guess, like the cliff notes of what we're trying to say for this bit is just leave yourself, bro. Don't paint yourself into a corner in any way by saying like my character robs banks in this exclusive manner, and he's an amazing thief. You don't have to paint yourself into exactly. You don't know that. And also you don't have to paint yourself into being an amazing person, because I feel like it's important to put this into roleplay actually, because a lot of times people don't get this, and it comes up in Adventure Zone a lot too, actually. Griffin brings it up a lot. Failure is what makes the game interesting. It's always fun to succeed, but there's nothing like failing a role and having to deal with those consequences, because that's what makes it feel real. That's what, again, adds that suspended disbelief we talked about last time, and also makes your character more easy to roleplay, because you now have to deal with the consequences of your role-played actions.
No, and plus too, like, this might be a personal thing, but I love playing the mundane, entering into the extraordinary. So, yeah, I was just a simple shopkeep. Like, I just sold things and really didn't make much of a profit. But I guess I'm going to go risk my life now because my shop is out of commission.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
what's a sword? I only know the merchant scale.
No, exactly.
I like playing the mundane, but sometimes I can get too mundane. It's like, well, wait, if you have a stable home life, why are you adventuring? Well, the wife said I need to get out of the house.
Yeah. Give yourself flavor, but don't force yourself in. Now, I feel
less
like
is more.
Less is more in this case. And honestly, in that sense of less is more, I feel like, an important thing to kind of touch on is the 4 things no one ever really knows what they're about on every character sheet. Your ideals, your bonds, your flaws, and that 4th thing no one ever really cares about.
Oh, I use that one as a little picture thing. I draw little like squirrels.
I think it's supposed to be personality traits, but that one to me always feels a little like, huh?
Yeah, it's like, okay, I mean, what do you mean personality trait, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like
they have things that can go in there, but it's like,
come on.
Do you really need to write it down?
If you need to write it down, you didn't know it in the first place.
I feel like almost like writing it down, and this is a character I'd love to play. It's just a character flat layer. Like even on their character sheet, like they have certain things written down, like not like stats, like hardline things, but like bonds. Like, oh yeah, I really love this woman. She's the love of my life. And in actuality, it's like, no, I fucking hate her.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
someone who is like a meta liar, kind of like Cusco almost, and
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he would be the guy that would tell the story like, oh, I'm the hardened veteran hunting a dragon. And it's like, dude, you were the water boy. No, I'm the hardened dude, you got everyone the water. And at the first sign of battle, you hid in the bunker for a week. The battle was an hour long, but you hid there for a week. You know,
Yeah,
that type of
basically.
character.
Exactly. Like, I feel like these three things are a little underappreciated. You can use, if you want a quick start, you can use the ones they offer in the book for backgrounds. Those are good.
Especially early on as an early player, like they are very helpful. Like if
Yeah.
you're an older, a more advanced player, yeah, you're gonna start using them less and less here and there. But if you're a newer player, like they can be a lifeline, especially if you've never done roleplay before, because they can give you things to work with. And even
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
as an advanced player, sometimes when I don't know where I'm gonna go with a character, I do use those. Like one of my characters, Cedri, I'm playing basically a twin to another player at the table, and I took one of the, I believe it was personality traits for I could be wrong. I think it was Scholar, and basically it was something along the lines of, basically in smart speak, I use big words to show that I'm smart. And I just started having a ball with that because I'm playing a wizard. So obviously I use big word because smart. And what was great was the improv at the table that my quote unquote brother came up with was he's playing a barbarian. So whenever I say something smart, he dumbs it down. Like I think we were in an enchanted forest. I did some detect magic as you do. And I think I said something along the lines of the archonic resonance of these arbors hints at a potential magical nature. And he just turns to the rest of the party and just dead-eye says, trees be magic, yo.
Damn.
And he improvised that on the spot, and we just kind of ran with that. Like, it became our character dynamic, even though we didn't know that going in. But because I looked at one personality trait, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I want to use my big words. We just ran from there.
No, yeah, stuff like that, it's always the best, Just little things that can start not really spiraling out of control, but really, giving you all you want. And also, one thing I've seen a lot are people are always like, I don't want to pick a flaw because, flaws sound bad.
I love flaws.
Flaws are amazing. Flaws are bad, but that's what makes them so good. They make you more, again, real. I don't understand why people have such a problem with wanting to be real in their fantasy game.
See, and my problem is I love flaws a bit too much because I'm all into that Greek myth, that tragic hero, And so sometimes I will give a flaw that's really crippling, but I try to have my character progress through it. Like one of my characters, his name was Blue Jay, as a reference to something. His name was Blue Jay, and he was a washed-up tactician. Like he was basically fresh out of the academy. He starts leading, this battle as the one of the tacticians. He made a single horrible mistake, and basically all the time he invested into becoming a tactician went down the drain. The city that got basically razed, and the survivors hated his guts. The kingdom was like, you idiot. And so what'd he do? Well, he drunk himself into a stupor, got picked up by some mercs who needed, a tactician, and it went from there. But he would always talk. His famous line was, I'm the guy behind the tragedy of Jorgenheim. I'm aware. I know. You don't need to tell me. I'm aware I caused that tragedy. And then he'd drink some. But the way I offset, because, that usually led to him just kind of jumping into heavy rapids ever so often. In combat, I wanted to show that he was actually a good tactician. So what happened? It was no more, yeah, I know, I caused the tragedy. It was, all right, I need you up on that hill. Coverage. I need you guys to hold this line. It's very imperative that you hold this line. Because if they break through here, the guy up there is going to get taken out, and we can't have that. Like, he would start doing the tactician thing, because it's like, okay, here's the battle, let's do this. Just out of combat, it was, yeah, I know, caused the tragedy, drink.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how I ran with that character and that flaw. Was, yeah, you can count on him when the fighting happens. But when you're trying to get people to your side, he's wearing that scarlet letter.
No, I completely agree, honestly. It's one of those just kind of insane things when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I personally currently have a character named Crunk, who is just my favorite thing in the world.
Yes, I already made the pull the lever Crunk joke.
Yep, just a big dumb dragonborn. Yeah. That's it. He's a big dumb dragonborn who likes having stuff, and that's all. That's all she wrote. There's no deeper, intense meaning to it. No.
Someday he'll learn to dance.
Someday he'll learn to dance, but honestly,
he'll be Crunk's new groove.
Oh, I hate you so much.
That's what, twice, 3 times that you just walked right into it, you know. If these were traps, that'd be some...
I've been running a camp all week, and I may or may not have started drinking at noon. Okay? Because today was the last day this week. I may or may not have had 2 cups of alcohol at 2:00 in the afternoon. Don't worry about it.
Adult chocolate milk, Hershey.
Adult chocolate milk, also known as a Pim's cup. So, besides that, flaws are great. Flaws really help, grow your character. But all these things come with time. You don't have to worry about having it all planned out off the bat. Just let it flow naturally.
Sometimes you'll come in with a really strong concept of a character. Like, okay, this is how the character I want to play, or at least kind of get to.
Yeah.
And other times you're going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just go with it, I guess.
Yeah, and both are fine. Mm-hmm. Both are totally fine.
However, you're going to get both. You're not going to have one over the other. You're always going to have both at least once.
Exactly. Now, here's the main thing I will say, though. If there's one thing I kind of always have to deal with when I'm helping either new players or even sometimes experienced players make their characters, the one thing that I always get asked when, about role-playing questions and stuff like that is, what do I do about... What?
Can I say the line?
Fine.
Mr. Hirsch, what about this section that says alignment?
You're a bloody idiot, Timmy. Get out of here.
No, I just wanted to play some of those dragons and dungeons that I talked about.
Only the knockoff caves and cultists for you, Timmy.
Oh, well, I guess I'll make do then.
Yeah, and only gruel for supper.
Oh, and I was really hoping to have some of those potatoes.
And that was our rendition of Oliver Twist. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yep. I hope you really got invested in the characters. You really felt enriched. We're trying to bring some class, some culture to this podcast.
Right? Who knows where little orphan Timmy is now? But seriously...
Little orphan Timmy grew up to become Scrooge.
Oh, God. It tracks. So, alignment is something we always deal with. Have you dealt with it, Chris?
I actually recently had to explain alignment to a friend who I was inducting, another individual I was inducting into the fabulous world of D&D. It's like, okay, what's alignment? And I'm like, oh, crap. All right, lecture time. I have it rehearsed and it stinks.
No, yeah. Honestly, alignment in general is kind of straightforward in a weird way. And that's kind of it. It's a 3x3 grid. On one side, there's chaotic. neutral, and lawful. And on the other side, there's good, neutral, and
Shout
evil.
out to that card game that's getting a reboot. Chaotic.
Yeah, it's getting a reboot. I'm kind of interested. Continuing on.
It is, yeah. We'll
I
talk later.
love that as a kid. So, using this grid, you can kind of define any character's personalities to a certain degree. Like Robin Hood would be considered chaotic good, stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. Whereas Darth Vader is lawful evil. He's very dark and evil, but he doesn't want chaos everywhere. He has an oppressive regime he wants to enact over the, galaxy.
And now you all know where the meme comes from of alignment charts.
Exactly. It's because of that, it kind of helps define chaotic good being like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to save the world. Laws be damned. Lawful good being, the laws are what makes us better than beasts. Lawful evil being, my laws are the laws that will benefit me and all should follow what I want. Chaotic evil being, stab that guy. Come on, do it. You want to. Just do it. Look. Think about stabbing him. Just do it.
I can actually explain alignment charts with movie quotes.
Yeah, that's a usual style of doing it.
It's really easy, honestly. Like, lawful evil is perfectly balanced as all things should be.
I feel like that's more true neutral, but here's the other thing that comes in. Alignment arguments are very common in the D&D fandom.
Oh gosh, there's so many. I think like the top 3 like D&D arguments that I see are the alignment argument.
Yeah.
Should the modifier or the score be in the big box argument?
Oh god, I don't know why that's the thing.
Do what you want. Hey, listeners, do what you want.
Yep, and what's the last one?
The last one. Oh, what? Oh, it's critical failure and success.
Oh, on skills, yeah.
Yeah.
That one's a reasonable argument at least, but continuing on.
Yeah.
Don't worry. For now, we could do a whole thing on alignment, honestly. We could do a whole candy corner on alignment.
We could even talk about the expanded alignment if we wanted to.
We're never touching that. It's not 5e legal. We don't talk about it.
It isn't.
However,
it just confuses me.
It really is confusing. Alignment is something you'll find with your character in time, and you can, apply to your character later. But honestly, if you're new, or if you don't know how your character is going to act for a long time and you're experienced, don't worry about it.
Because in all honesty,
yeah,
it really doesn't come up.
There are like 3 spells that interact with it, and like 4 monsters. But besides
who really is casting those spells?
The one asshole who makes the EM pain.
Oh yeah.
But seriously, you don't have to worry about it. But when you do feel like you start doing it, that's when you can figure out where you truly lie. Like, chaotic neutral is you follow your own rules. You have your own code you follow. While lawful neutral is you follow the law of the world. Like you follow the natural cycle very closely. Whereas true neutral, could just be you and you alone. You do not care what happens to the world around you as long as you are not affected.
Gosh, true neutral is so hard to... Even I can't conceptualize. Like, I personally can't conceptualize true neutral.
The closest I've gotten...
So...
Yeah, no, I feel you. The closest I've gotten to true neutral is like a treant just living in his forest. Never moving.
Yeah.
Always peaceful.
Oh, Herbert. That was a reference for people.
Yep.
Because we're throwing those out.
But we've been just chucking them left and right.
Yeah, alignment. Really, like you'll eventually, as you play, like you'll figure out kind of like, oh yeah, I'll play with alignment as a personality trait. But early on, it's just going to be a thing you can just honestly ignore. Really, unless it specifically comes up, which really it doesn't.
No, honestly, I feel like there's more I want to say, but I'm just going to keep going in circles and just end up back at...
Because that's alignment, right? You just end up back where you were. You're either redefining what we've already kind of defined, or you just, restate the arguments of why you shouldn't worry about it again after you state it, because it's alignment. It's like it really isn't that much of a complicated aspect of the game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The main
There's only so much you can debate.
yeah, and which amazes me why people debate it so much. So in the end, I feel like that's most of what what you can think about with role playing. Like
There's actually one thing I kind of wanted to bring up.
oh, hit it, because I'm running blank now. Hit me.
All right, you run blank. Character inspiration.
Ooh, know what? You got me there. That's a good one, actually. You want us to lead us off into it then?
That's honestly what I use when I'm like thinking of a character is like, okay, well, if I'm doing this and this, I kind of pull up like, the people that I know that would fit that, in pop culture and otherwise. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to kind of play that. Or, you know what? I kind of want to be like that. That looks fun. I want to play that character, right? A lot of times when I play my characters, they're usually inspired by something. Some character. Like, so for example, let me think. Going back to Blue Jay, I guess I can tell the people who didn't know. Blue Jay is a play on Robin from Fire Emblem. Is a tactician character. All right, but in Fire Emblem, Robin is super confident. Like, yes, I know everything that the enemy is gonna do, and do this because my tactics are ironclad. I'm like, that's not real. Hey, what if he failed? What would that look like? And then we got Blue Jay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another thing, I've seen people who were gonna play like a Buccaneer type character. A certain rogue was like, you know what? I kind of want to be like Jack Sparrow. Didn't end up like Jack, but it was a good jumping off point.
No, yeah, exactly. Right? I feel like the reason why I didn't think about this, I don't usually personally rely on character inspirations like that. I think of like, I kind of leap into concept, like, what do I want this character to do? And what would be fun about that? I jump off into that. I don't really look for references.
Mm-hmm. See, like, honestly, but, just because of how I get, like, inspiration, I can get inspiration from the weirdest thing, because it usually is just, hey, look at that thing, you like that thing, yes, I do. Wait, analyze, flip, okay, cool, here's the thing I came up with. How did you get that from that? Don't worry about it.
No, yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's usually just,
a leaping off
point. The way that character interacts with the world around them gives me some new perspective that I then play with when I, use that, perspective in concept, conceptualization of a character.
Yeah.
Basically, okay, let's say someone says, the government's always corrupt. It's like, well, is it always corrupt? What's the perspective that it is always corrupt? How can it be always corrupt? Is it true? Is it wrong? And then I start looking at both the sides of that. And then usually come up with my own little idea of like, okay, what if a character believed in this? What if a character believed in that? That's two characters. Cool. Gonna, put that in my mental locker, and I'll pull that up later, right? If I ever need to, or if I have something that fits in that. And then I jump off and leap into concept, right? At least for me. Different.
You'll find one of the biggest things you'll do is you'll find your like method of creating a character, and I don't personally use references. Chris kind of uses them here as a jumping off point to whatever the hell he's thinking about at the time, and both are equally viable. There is no right or wrong way. You're making something, and making something correctly is stupid. Perfection's not allowed. Perfection's boring.
We gotta have that flaw.
You gotta have flavor. Yeah, salt's bad for you. God damn, is it tasty?
Honestly, that's once again just to give more life into this. Class flavor is a great jumping off point.
That's true too. Actually,
no, you can play to the flavor. You can play against the flavor.
No,
if you can justify it.
Exactly, a cowardly paladin who are supposed to be like the stoic and staunch. It's great, I have a friend who plays something like that. It's always like just the funniest thing hearing those kind of stories of
the wizard. who flunked out of college.
Exactly. Or like the wizard who likes being like on the front lines, like being all tanky or whatever, trying to be a tough guy.
The muscle wizard.
The muscle wizard. Yeah.
The barbarian who's actually educated.
The barbarian who's super educated but doesn't want to like talk smart because he thinks everyone around him is an idiot, so he tries to talk on their level.
Right, yes. Okay, give me a moment, sir.
Ooga ooga.
No, I can't do it today. I'm sorry. I read a really good book and I just really. Oh wait, you really want me to? Okay, you know. Just Professor Hulk it.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Like,
flavor's a great jumping off point. Your background's
a great jumping off point. Your character, your god. Gods are a great way to like find inspiration for how you want your character to act.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, why do you worship them? You know, do they align with you? Do you align with them?
No, exactly.
Where do you guys meet? Do you meet in the middle? Do you meet more to him, more to you? Who wears the the divine pants in this relationship, so to speak?
Exactly.
In terms of devotion.
There's a lot of ways you can flavor it, and I feel like we're gonna have the alignment. Yeah. I feel like we're gonna have the alignment issue where we just keep going around in circles because there are so many goddamn ways to flavor it.
Oh yeah, no, there's so many methods that you can just build a character because hey, it's one of the most integral parts of the game. So there's got to be multiple ways you can tackle it. Kind of like how we, did a whole episode on dice and we still didn't even scratch the surface because it's such an integral part of the game.
Yeah. No, it's so important to just have a factor. I guess the important part about character concepts and stuff like that is the cornerstone, What makes your character? What's the part of them that won't like really falter no matter what the situation, unless it's, and if it does falter, that must be
What's
a character defining moment
of your character's being.
Exactly. What defines
Are we going to see that lighthouse
choices?
fall, or are we going to see it stand proud in the darkness?
Exactly. That lighthouse defines your character's decisions. And if that lighthouse ever starts changing direction, why? That's one of the few. I think that's like almost. There's a couple things you should think about, but I feel like that's the most important thing you should think about during character creation.
Especially early on. Early on if you're like new to role playing. Because that lighthouse can really help even guide you alongside your character.
Exactly. This is honestly what I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's honestly a good note to leave off.
I agree.
The lighthouse in the darkness that only persists because the emperor devours so many souls a day.
Oh, I was going to make a beacon reference, but okay.
No, we have to tie this to our Warhammer stuff. Otherwise it's not going to fit.
But Duck Newton.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Well, that's
5 points to your Hogwarts house if you get that reference.
Oh boy, yeah. So that's it for this Candy Corner. This has been, role playing. We may touch on it again. It's a deep subject with a lot of nooks and crannies.
We got a segment out of it. We haven't gotten a new segment in a while. It's it's like having a new child.
Oh boy, we need more of those in the world. So
more children or segments in the world?
You decide. You interpret it however you want. So in the end,
like characters.
Exactly. So I feel like, this is where we usually cut our show off. But before we begin, the usual descent into madness, if you want to, get in touch with us, you can email us at chocolatecoveredgamemail@gmail.com. That's chocolatecoveredgamemail@gmail.com. And the reason why I bring this up instead of Crunchie, who usually uses it to wrap up at the end, is we got a new email today.
We got an email. From a Silver Bliss.
Yes, Silver Bliss. He, like, someone else a while back asked us, Calkern asked us to create a homebrew for them. And we're still thinking of maybe a new segment we want to do to address these requested homebrews, because they're going to be a little different than us just sitting down, one of us pitching something and one of us rolling with it. But we do want you guys sending us in requests. We are, we're thinking of a new segment and we want to do this for you guys, That's one thing that's what I wanted to say. However, Silver Bliss, we got your email. And for those of you who want to either A, ask us questions, because we usually answer them on Candy Corners, or B, send us requests or, do anything like that, feel free to send us an email at chocolatecoveredgamemail@gmail.com, or you can just leave us a comment on our YouTube channel. I know it's called Chocolate Covered Gaming, but if there's a better link for it, Chris will tell me right now. Chris?
There isn't.
That's what I thought, but you know what? I had faith. And that was
one day I'm going to come in, I'll be like, guess what, Hirsch? We got the link. Today is not that day.
Yep. So
this day we continue to fight for subscribers.